Today's subject, slavery. No, I'm just kidding. In today's video, I wanted to talk about something called fear. Something that we all experience. And by the way, I'm just sitting back in the parking lot, man. I need to start doing these videos a lot more. Ever since I got my windows tinted, I need to start doing these videos more, man. Because sometimes I just do this. Like, I mean, I'm about to order some Chipotle in a few minutes, but sometimes I'll just sit in a parking lot and I'll just go all the way over to the left. And I'm just staring out the window looking at the views, man. So, you know, sometimes I'll just sit here and I'll just do that. So, but yeah, fear and why it is so important to push past it. You know, back in the day, fear used to be something that your brain used to make sure you were safe. Like back in the caveman days and shit like that. When we had to chase after lions or shit, run away from them and chase after deer and to hunt our food and stuff. Fear was something that we used, and whenever our brain felt it, it was a signal to let us know that something's wrong, something's off, or that whatever you're about to do or whatever's about to happen isn't good. And that's when your fight or flight response would normally kick in. And you know, most of the time you'd either, you fight for your life, or you'd flee, run away. And in today's day and age, fear is completely different. So back then, fear was used correctly. Like when you felt fear, 9 times out of 10, probably 10 times out of 10, it was a good sign. It was something that that you should be feeling. It was your brain's way of saying, get the fuck out of there or fight for your life. In today's day and age, though, especially when it comes to our goals and when it comes to stepping out of our comfort zone, fear is the worst thing to have on the planet, because your brain can't differentiate the difference between a fear that, number one, is imaginatory and a fear that's real, and it also can't tell the difference between a fear that is in the past, like the fear I'm talking about in the caveman days, and the present fear. Like your brain can't separate the difference between the two. The only thing your brain knows is, oh shit, hold on, I'm uncomfortable with what I'm about to do. This is out of my comfort zone, and I have fear now, and you shouldn't do this. Like you have to, the way that I see it is, you have to fight with every inch of your being to push past that fear that you feel when you're about to do something unfamiliar, when you're about to do something that just makes you uncomfortable, when you're about to do something that challenges everything that you know. And like I said, your brain quite literally thinks that you're dying. Like it could not understand that what you're about to do is probably nowhere near a big of a deal. And that's another side note too, is that most of the things that you fear are nowhere near a big deal as much as you like make them. And examples of that is if you look back in your own life. If you look back in your own life and you just look back over the times that you were fearful or afraid of certain things in your life, and you overcame them. And like now you look back and you're just like, why the fuck was I so afraid? What was I afraid of? For examples, for me, it'd be something like when I started new jobs and I was scared as shit and had no idea what the hell I was doing. Like most people, you know, you're brand new, have no idea what the hell you're doing. You're scared, you don't know. And then a couple months go by, you get the hang of it. You look back and you're just like, wow, I can't believe I was so paralyzed by that fear. So number one, I'd have to say one of the harsh realities, one of the truths, but something that the faster you accept, the better, is that number one, whatever you're fearing, in most situations, and not all of them, but in most, whatever you're fearing is going to happen. Like, depending on whatever goal it is. Like, you shouldn't have a fear of, let's just say, dying, for example. That's going to happen. You can't prevent that, right? Or a fear, another bad example, I guess you could say, is like a fear of losing your friends or family, like people dying. Like that's going to happen. Like, and by you fearing it, it's not going to make it come faster or slower, but it's going to happen. A good example I could say is fear of a new goal or some shit. Now, let's just say you fear of going to work out, going to the gym. You're afraid that people might look at you. You're afraid that you might fuck up and not know what you're doing. I like to use the other kind of approach, which is, yes, that's going to happen. Like, instead of trying to talk yourself out of those things happening, accept that it probably will happen. Now, like I said, in other worst case scenarios, it truly depends. Like, if you have a fear of driving a car, I wouldn't say, or a fear of getting into an accident, right? I wouldn't say accept the fact that you're going to get into an accident, accept the fact that you're going to crash and die, right? You're going to try your best to prevent it, but you know that it's possible. Like, you know that it's highly unlikely that I'm going to go throughout my entire life and not get into an accident, whether it's a fender bender, whether I'm not even in my car, whether it's a total crash. It's unlikely that it's not going to happen, right? So, like, you look at it, you base it on like that kind of basis. You don't say, oh shit, I'm afraid of getting into an accident, so I'm just not going to drive, or oh shit, I'm afraid of getting into an accident, let me get on the beltway and just go 90 and start swerving on purpose because I know it's going to happen, let me get it out the way. You don't self-sabotage yourself, but you just accept things for what they are. You know, if you're afraid of that new job and you're afraid of messing up, and you're afraid of driving, you're afraid of working out, you're afraid of doing a certain thing, accept that you messing up, and that's probably the main thing, really. That's the main thing. Fear normally comes from a lack of confidence, which is in several things. And the reason you don't have confidence is because you're not competent in something. And the only way you can become competent in something is consistency, which is doing that certain thing over and over and over again until you become comfortable. That's the only way that you gain competence and confidence, is consistency. So, thinking to yourself, oh man, like, what happens if I mess up? What happens if I fuck up? What happens if I fail? Like, you will. Like, that's normal. It's ideal. It's the normal thing. I think another thing that has to play into that is also social media, because we get a glamorized look into people's lives on social media, and you don't see the failures. Like, social media is fake. It's the exact opposite of what real life is. It's not the real thing. You know, like a lovely analogy that I like to use about how social media is fake and it isn't the real thing is, I always go back to the Area 51 raid. If y'all remember that, back a couple years ago, the Area 51 raid, I don't know what year that was, but how you know that the internet is fake is that millions of people signed the petition, some Facebook petition to raid Area 51, like millions. I'm talking, I think it was like 5 or 6 million at its peak, maybe more than that, really. You know, said they were going to storm Area 51, and they actually prepared for it, had soldiers on the front lines and everything. Like 7 people showed up, including a porn star, and 2 people tried to actually like take a step over the perimeter or something, and both of them immediately got detained, and that was all. Like, that sums up the internet for you. Millions, if not billions of people say shit, they don't do shit. Millions of billions of people portray this facade or this alter ego, this different reality, and it's not real. Like, it's fake. But we get so wrapped up in it because it's all we see that we can't put 2 and 2 together and realize that it's not real. It's fake. So that's the analogy I like to use for y'all. So whenever you see things online, don't compare yourself to people like that. Don't compare. It's good to use them as inspiration or motivation as to like, oh, that's what I want to get to. Like, that's a good level, or that's who I want to become like. But you should never compare where you're at right now to them. Like, you shouldn't look at them like, oh man, you know, I need to become, or I need to be perfect and flawless like them. Like, you're not going to see that. That's why you have edits and stuff. You know, your favorite, and I'll use myself for example, your favorite YouTubers, your favorite streamers, your favorite gamers. You know, you watch someone like a tale old as time. You watch like a professional player in a certain game that you like play, and you're just like, I can do that too. And there's of course that huge disconnect in reality, because you don't see the work they put in and the failures that they took to get to that point. You just see the clips of them being cracked. That's the only thing people care about. You know, you get on the game and then get absolutely dog stomped, and you're just like, man, I can't do it. I could never be like them. And it's just like, you know, why everything they touch turns to gold? Why is it so perfect? And it's like, no shit. You don't see, like, you're not there. Like, you don't see what they went through to get to that point. They didn't wake up blessed like that. They didn't wake up naturally gifted at whatever it is. They just cut those parts out. Like, I mean, just think about celebrities and who we know today as famous people in general. Like, the reason that you know them is because they're successful now. Like, you didn't know, who's famous. You didn't know The Rock, Dwayne The Rock, before he, was into wrestling, or an actor. You didn't know who the fuck he was. He was a random person. You didn't know some famous YouTubers. Like, you didn't know KSI or Logan Paul, Jake Paul, PewDiePie. Like, you didn't know them when they were small, when they were failing, when they were messing up, when they were getting small little gigs on the side that didn't pay any money, when they were damn near homeless, when they were a nobody. People making fun of them, saying you'll never achieve anything. Rappers, the same thing. You didn't know them when they were underground. You didn't know them. You're a lot like 99% of people, which is fine, but you're a lot like most people who just know them now because they're famous, because they got to that level on their own. So you just got to keep that in mind. So, that's number one when it comes to fear, right? Which is, don't compare yourself to other people, and accept that you're going to mess up and you're going to make mistakes. You're going to mess up. Like, it's going to happen. You're going to look like a dumbass. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to fuck up. And accept that. And the moment you accept that and come to peace with that, it's like a different level of serenity, because it's just like, okay. It's not like you're looking for it. Like I said, it's not like you are going to start actively trying to mess up now on purpose, but you invite it. You accept it. Like, that failure is just a stepping stone to success, instead of beating yourself up about it. Instead of just being one of the people who mess up 1 or 2 times and be like, man, fuck this, man. I can't. Like, I'm not built for this. Like, no. You're just like, oh, this is good. I'm learning. And people use this analogy a lot, and then I'll get to the next point. But, think of a baby. Dumbass baby. Babies don't, like, their brains just they don't think of failure. Like, they goo and gaga and shit. They don't think of failure. They don't think of, like, oh, how many times have I messed up trying to talk? They just keep on trying to go over and over and over again until they're able to eventually talk. Same thing with walking. Well, a baby doesn't, like, it can't comprehend failure. Like, it can't comprehend, like, not walking. It'll just stand up, and it'll keep on standing up over and over and over again until it eventually gets to the point where it can walk, and it eventually starts walking. It sees someone else doing it. It sees its parent and mommy and daddy. Oh, they're walking. They're doing whatever the hell that magic is. I'm just going to keep trying it. And then they do it. But as we grow older, we learn things like failure and no, you can't, and you're messing up, or mistakes. School teaches us that, right? You get an A, you're smart, and F, you're dumb, right? So eventually we just get to that point where we're afraid of failing, because we're told that if we fail, it's a bad thing. It's crazy how it works. You go from a child to, well, failure isn't even like a thing. It's just like a process, to being conditioned as a teenager that it's bad and that you shouldn't do it. Then as an adult, you have to relearn again that failure is not a bad thing, that it's part of a process, and that you should invite it. But that's number one, accepting it, right? Like I said, accepting that it's going to happen. Number two is realizing that whatever it is, like I said, it goes to what I was talking about earlier. Number two is realizing that whatever it is that you do naturally, you're not going to be good at first. Like, naturally, you're going to mess up. You're going to fuck up. Well, shit, that's point number one. Point number two is, shit, I got sidetracked. My bad, yo. Point number two is, whenever you're sitting there and you're thinking about it, your brain is going to try its best to psych you out in any way that it can. And you're over-exaggerating it to the absolute max, whatever it is. Like I said, think about the times that you overcame things. Like, for me, for example, when I started my jobs and my brain was scrambling at 1,000 times a minute trying to understand basic concepts that it seemed to me anyway, me getting in my own head, that people were just able to get like that. Like, I just couldn't understand concepts And in my own brain, I would tell myself, everyone else is smart but me. Like, everyone else just makes it look so easy. And other people would even tell me, like, you're your own biggest critic, even more so than other companies, which is surprising because most of them don't give a fuck about you. Like, how is it? And I had to ask myself that question. I'd be like, how is it that you're a bigger critic of yourself and harder on yourself than companies are? Like, some companies are willing to give you that leeway and that leverage to mess up and make mistakes because they understand there's a grace period. Like, most jobs have like that 90-day probationary period. Most jobs understand that you're going to be messing up, but you're still beating yourself up. And I would notice that. I'd be like, man, like, they know in this period of 90 days or 60 days, whatever, that I'm going to be fucking up. Like, they know that. And that's why they give you that time to make those mistakes, to see if you can correct yourself and become who they want you to be at that job or whatever. And it's just like, I'll make one mistake and be like, fuck this, dog. Like, I make one mistake, I'm like, yep, I knew it, yep. And I'm like, see, I can't do shit right. I just like, and I'm just like, damn, like, I'm fucking up. And I would ask people at the jobs that I was at, like, man, how'd you do it? And some of them would tell me. They would tell me straight up like that. They would just be like, bruh, like, this is only your first day. This is only your first week. This is only like your first time here. Like, you can't, like, you can't beat yourself up about this. You can't beat yourself up about this right now. Like, it makes no sense, right? And pretty much what I would say is, at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, you have to, my bad, y'all, I'm getting distracted because for some reason somebody decided to pull up right in front of me. So we're gonna move now, because out of all places to be, people thought that it would be a good idea to pull up right in front of me. I hate that shit. So yeah, like, yeah, let's pull up real quick to somewhere else, because I don't like that at all. Nope. It's like, out of all places for you to be, you decided to pull up right beside me. I just don't understand, guys. I'm just so, like, I'd be so lost and confused. Like, out of all places and out of all the faces, I don't know what I'm saying. I'm just saying random shit now. Make sure I'm finessing this back up. Are we good? Okay. But as I was saying, oh, I like this. I like this spot. This is way better for real. I don't know when I'm going to upload this. I have no idea. I might upload this in a couple days or a week, or maybe today. I don't know. Probably in like a week or so. Who the fuck knows? I don't even know what today's date is. But look. As I was saying though, the first point, like I said, let me get back on track. First point is beating yourself up. I mean, is realizing you're going to fail, you're going to make mistakes. Accept that, you'll be way better, right? Number two is realizing that in order for you to get to that point, you need to remember that it's nowhere near as big of a deal as you think it is. Like, your brain literally thinks that you're dying. Your brain cannot comprehend or understand what it is that's happening, and your brain is trying so hard to prevent you from doing that certain thing, thinking that whatever it is that you're doing is failure. Like, thinking that whatever it is you're doing is the equivalent of back in the day getting hunted and chased down by that lion. Like, you're about to start that business, you're about to walk into that job for the first time or go for an interview, you're about to game or do some shit like that, you're about to go to the gym and work out, you're about to do something brand new. Your brain, even though you're trying to talk yourself into it and you're trying to say to yourself, like, how is this that big of a deal? Your brain's legit thinking you're gonna die if you do this. If you do this, you're dead. You might as well just give it up. If you do this right now, it's over. So just remembering that it is nowhere near as big of a deal as you think it is. It's nowhere near as big of a deal as your brain is trying to make it out to be. Like, you will be okay. And if you want proof of that, look back over your life and look back over the things you've achieved in the past and what you've overcome. And remember, you thought to yourself when you went through those things, holy shit, there's no way that I was like gassing this up. There's no way that in my brain I was making this seem to be as bad as it was, when it wasn't that bad at all. So that's probably my point number 2. And point number 3, it kind of ties into point number 2, but it's enjoy that. Like, just enjoy it. Like, start looking at it as a good thing. Start looking at that fear that you're feeling as a good thing. Like, whenever you feel that, know that it's good. Know that, like, oh, I'm supposed to feel this way, and start using it as like a positive. And when it gets to that point, because at first when you start off, you're gonna be talking to yourself, and it's not gonna be believable. It's gonna feel like almost like imposter syndrome, where your brain is just like, I don't really feel this way. Why am I saying these things? But the more you say it, eventually, the more you'll believe it. Like how the subconscious and the conscious mind really can't tell the difference between what it is you're saying versus what it is you're believing. Eventually, after enough times, you'll get to that point where your body actually believes it. Like, you start working out, and at first, when I started working out, several years ago, when I was just fucking obese, just a fucking pig, like, I would tell myself, I love this shit. Like, I love it. Like, I'm built for this. I love this. And in my brain would be like, no, the fuck you don't. No, you don't, fat ass. You're sitting here, you don't love this shit at all. You're dying. Like, getting up out of bed, you're out of breath. Don't even get me started on hitting the actual workout program button. You fucking fatso. You can't, like, why are you faking? Why are you lying? Like, hit the stop button. Fucking go get a Twinkie and eat and sit down, And I had to keep on saying to myself, like, no, shut up. Like, I'm talking to myself, saying, no, shut up. Like, I love this shit. I'm built for this shit. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love being sweaty. I love being tired. I love my heart rate going up. I love this stuff. And everything else is the bonus. Like, seeing the results, seeing the fat melt off, seeing actual fucking structure and my bones and shit in my face, and seeing, like, definition and tone in my muscles and back and stomach and everything, that's all a bonus. But I love this process. I love it. And eventually, no matter how long it takes, even if it takes days, weeks, months, years, eventually I truly started believing that shit. Like, eventually my body was just like, oh, like, nah, like, you love this shit. Like, I would wake up, and before I work out, even if I was feeling down or feeling sad or feeling like tired or whatever, I'd be like, my brain subconsciously, I would catch it. Like, my brain subconsciously would be like, you love this shit. Like, hell yeah, you want to do this. And I'd catch myself saying that, like, oh shit, I do. Like, oh shit, I do want this. Like, oh yeah, I do want this shit. So eventually, as you keep on telling yourself to enjoy the process, you will truly enjoy the process. And number four, which is the finale, even though when you're going through it, of course, it sucks, you'll eventually get to that point that when you do become successful, you reach your goal, whatever it may be, you'll get to that point where you're so happy that you pushed past that fear or whatever it was and achieved your goal. And you'll look back at all those times, and those times were the most important times, because they were the most emotionally heavy times. And you'll look back at those times and be like, oh shit, like, I remember when I was scared to do this, and now I just do it off of muscle memory. I remember when I was scared to do this, and now I'm at the top of whatever I'm doing. I remember when I was scared to do this, like, look how far I've gone. I was terrified of doing this one simple thing, and now I'm at such a level where, like, doing that simple thing is not even like a thought. Like, I'm at like, man, I was scared to work out. Now I'm fucking, not only am I working out, but I'm working out with celebrities type shit. I'm just giving off examples. Like, man, I can't believe I was afraid to press a workout button, and now here I am at a spot I never thought. I'm at like 4% body fat, ripped as hell, like working out with other influencers or something. Like, man, I can't believe I was afraid to start that job. I can't believe I was afraid to even fill out an application, just afraid to eat. I can't believe I was afraid to go and I'm telling you, pushing yourself out of your comfort zone will just take you places you couldn't even imagine. Like, oh man, I can't believe I was afraid to just go to a job interview just by itself. And here I am talking up on stage to over 1 million people. Like, that's insane. Like, and I know where you are currently right now, you're just like, that's insane. The fuck? I would never do that. But pushing yourself out of your comfort zone will just lead you to places that you never even imagined. So this video has been 25 minutes. Half of it I've been distracted and shit, having to move spots and everything like that. But those are the four that I'd say. Those are the four pillars. Number one is realizing that you're going to mess up. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to fuck up. All these things that you're thinking are going to happen. So just let it go. Like, it's going to happen. It's okay. It's part of the process. That's number one. Number two is realizing that it's nowhere near as big of a deal as you think it is. Like, it's not a big deal. Whatever you think it is, or how big of a deal you think it is, trust me, it's not. Like, and use your previous things you've gone through in your life to use, like, as an example, to look at that. Like, oh shit, man, why am I tripping on this? I'm good. That's number two. Number three is realizing that it's all part of the process. Realizing that, you know, this is exactly what you need to go through in order to become the person that you want to become, and training your brain to actually enjoy it. Telling yourself, no matter what, telling yourself like, oh shit, this is good for me. I want this. I like this. Looking at fear as a good thing and not a bad thing. And number four is it's all part of the journey. Realizing that when you push past that fear, one day you're going to look past it and you're going to say, holy shit, I cannot believe that I was stuck on that. I can't believe that I was concerned about that. I can't believe that that was what had me in a tight grip for so long. You know what I mean? So that's it. That's it for the video. Like I said, I don't know when I'm going to upload this shit. Right now my channel's focused on Escape from Tarkov videos. I don't know. I might just make a different channel called Timster Talks or something. Timster 918 Talks. Because I understand that, you know, it's my channel. I just be uploading random stuff, but sticking to a niche is important. And I know people, you know, that subscribe. Okay, one person, they're going to subscribe for Tarkov, and they're, you know, they come in and they see a video like this within these like dimensions, 9x16, and they're just like, what the fuck is this? I didn't subscribe for this shit. You know what I mean? Like, I can see that. Like, I didn't subscribe for whatever the fuck this shit is, right? So I might just make another channel, call it Timster 918 Talks or Timster Talks or something, and just upload videos like this on that one. That's probably what I'll end up doing. But for those who enjoy these kind of videos, man, I appreciate it. I love y'all, and I will catch y'all in the next one. Timster 918 out of here.